Hello everyone, today I'm going to talk about something. More specifically, I'm going to talk about my experience with trying to um, surmount the difficulties I have because of my mental conditions. What do I do to have a life that functions somewhat normally? Well, my life is fine, it functions normally-ish, but it would be much harder if I didn't do certain things. So today we're going to talk about those things. First, and probably the most important thing, would be medical care. So, with my conditions, I have Aspergers, I have something the psychiatrist called chronic psychosis, though I don't think that's the official term. I have ADHD, dyslexia. With these different things, I have found that getting medical help truly helps me manage my life. So that means having a psychiatrist that can back you up and help you find medication that is suited for you. This doesn't mean that whatever the psychiatrist prescribes needs to be the thing for you, and if it's not, that the psychiatrist is bogus and that you shouldn't go to a psychiatrist. This means that when you go to a psychiatrist and they prescribe you medication, you take it correctly, and if it doesn't work or it has negative effects, you contact your psychiatrist and talk about it. And don't just do something rash like stop it all of a sudden without medical assistance. So, my number one thing is going and getting medical help and respecting the specialist's advice. The second thing I do is I sleep quite a bit. Because of my condition, and maybe partially because of my medication that I try my best to take as correctly as possible, I get really sleepy sometimes. And I found that going and taking a nap and taking also my full 8 hours of sleep at night is much more useful for clear head, focus, and reducing anxiety and side effects of my conditions than taking a coffee to wake up. The reason I say this is because I know a lot of people drink coffee, and I'm not saying it's necessarily bad, but coffee, from what my doctors have told me, can produce crashes or sudden moments of fatigue, which can really put you out of balance if you have different mental conditions. It can make me very anxious if I get very tired when I'm trying to work. It will worsen my ADHD, in addition to the fact that coffee does worsen attention span, apparently. And it will not allow me to do the work I have to do, though I will have been more awake the hours before. So, in addition, it's important to remember that some things such as coffee and caffeine are not recommended when taking medication, certain medications. For example, I take Ritalin, and I am advised not to drink coffee because of its effect on the heart. The Ritalin already makes your heartbeat faster or your blood pressure higher, I'm not sure. And taking coffee will enhance that effect, making it potentially dangerous. That's what I'm told. I'm no medical, I have no expertise in medicine, so all I'm saying is out of my knowledge from my doctors and what I'm living and what I'm trying to do for my health. So please bear that in mind. Take what I say with a grain of salt. I'm no expert. A third thing I do, which I think is very important for me to keep myself mentally healthy, is I keep a journal. Yeah, okay. By journal, I mean something pretty specific. Uh, Not only a journal in which I log my experiences and my feelings, though that is very important for some people in order to process those experiences and feelings, but I also use it as a way to structure my life. So my diary will usually have lists I made myself of tasks, of time for each task, and where I also log in the outcomes of each task and how well I did them or how poorly I did on them, in order to give my already haphazard mind a bit more structure. Another reason this is very useful is because it really helps me introspect, see what's going well, what's going bad, what's actually happening in my mind under the superficial impressions I have. So when I'm angry, is it really because of that person, or is it because I'm having a bad day and that person just made it worse? Or is it some long-lasting nagging annoyance at them that I never treated? So this is also very useful to control mood. The fourth thing I try to do to improve my mental health is sport. I try to go running, and to be honest, I'm not very successful. I often don't run and I don't do enough sport, but I have found that the times where I do sport really improve my mental clarity and allow me to control myself better in terms of mood, in terms of I have better sleep, lower fatigue. So I'd really recommend that if it's something you're not doing, maybe try it out. The fifth thing is therapy. Of course, if you can't afford it, yeah, this will be harder to reach, although this doesn't mean you can't be mentally healthy without therapy. Although in some cases that is true. In many cases, I suppose you can manage yourself. But if you do have access financially or um, financially to therapy, or there are infrastructures around you that would allow you to have to see therapists at lower prices than usual, I'd recommend really going for it, because once you found a therapist with which you can build a connection, this will really help stabilize you and give you the perspectives and interests and different introspective techniques to better understand and manage your condition, and also will help you find a plan to maybe to reach the goals you want despite your conditions. And the sixth and final thing that I would consider really helpful for me till now in order to stay mentally healthy to some extent and manage my conditions was a good social group, a good friend group. What I mean by this is finding a community or a group that is willing to help you and accommodate for you, having supportive friends, potentially a supportive partner, which will be with you and help you cope with the situation. Then again, that doesn't mean that your friends or your social group or your partner should become your psychoanalyst or your shrink, because that will often backfire. I have the impression people will take their distance if they feel they're doing a job which someone else could do, and it generally doesn't harbor healthy relationships. Uh, Maybe sometimes it does, I'm not sure. But finding a healthy friend group is really important, and especially getting away from toxic friends, friends that destabilize you emotionally, that create anxieties that you don't need to have. I think this is very important and a high contributor to mental health, to have a healthy and sane, well, no, not sane, you can have people with conditions, but people who have a sane outlook around you. So yeah, these are the six things I would say are really important to my life in order to keep me mentally healthy. I'd like to know, what are yours? What do you do in order to keep yourself level-headed and manage your life with your conditions? So thanks for watching. If you like it, you know what to do, and have a lovely day. Bye.